Okay, next up we're going to talk about Nebraska. This is a film, I want to see it, and I think I am going to go see it along with 12 Years, I'll make a double feature maybe. 12 Years a Slave and Nebraska. I think I'll see these two in the next couple of weeks. Let's see. I think right now Bruce Dern is getting a hell of a lot of awards contention here. Dern was only nominated for Coming Home, and I remember back in the day, well, I don't remember, I wasn't there, but a lot of people, like Siskel and Ebert, were saying the front runner up until like the weeks before the Oscars was Bruce Dern for Coming Home, for winning in supporting actor. I think he's going to be nominated. I don't think he's quite going to win this year, though. We've got a lot on our plates for Best Actor. And Bruce Dern, yeah, I think he's going to get in. We're also going to see June Squibb. Supporting actress is kind of weaker this year. Last year there was Anne Hathaway, and who cares? Because Hathaway was going to win. This year, I think Lupita and Winfrey are going to fight for it. Otherwise, it's wide open. So I think, yeah, for June Squibb, I think that's a good chance there. Original screenplay. I think this is going to be the other one. So there, we've got her, Saving Mr. Banks, and American Hustle, and Inside Llewyn Davis, and this, I think, are going to be the 5. Again, there's a whole lot more, though. So, I think Nebraska and Inside Llewyn Davis are the first. If anybody's going to break in, these are the first 2 to go. Probably this one being first to go, but we'll figure that out later, of course. So that's 3 nominations I think it's going to get. Otherwise, this could break into Best Picture and Best Director for sure. Cinematography, it's all about getting from Montana to Nebraska, so yeah, we could see definitely some awards attention there. And also for original score. I haven't heard too much talk otherwise about original score for this film. I think the score is really light. From the trailer, I don't remember the music being like overbearing. It's been I didn't actually watch this one too long ago, but the trailer, I remember the trailer didn't have a whole lot of overbearing music, so I think that could be, that's a dicey nomination there. So that's Nebraska. Okay, so now we're going to move on. Blue Jasmine from Woody Allen. This film, I think right now as it stands, is the surefire winner for Best Actress for Cate Blanchett. And yeah, I think that's kind of the that's the thing I think it's going to take home. Otherwise, I think that's going to be the only nomination for the film, though, as it stands right now. But that being said, we do have a lot of other potentials here. Best Picture, Director. For supporting actress for this film, Sally Hawkins, I think, could also break into the category for supporting actress. And we could see a nomination, again, it all depends, for original screenplay. I think this is the first runner-up, I think, for getting into the 5 slots for original screenplay. But yeah, I have not seen the film. I haven't read a whole lot of plot descriptions or anything. I know the reviews are good. I know Cate Blanchett has been getting like the reviews of her career. Otherwise, I don't know too much about the film, but there, 1 nomination, I think, for sure. 1 win, I think, for sure. But otherwise, we'll see how it goes. All right, next up, Dallas Buyers Club. The film, of course, about Matthew McConaughey getting AIDS. Again, takes place in the past, but I don't think this film's going to get any nominations outside of acting. Right now, I think Matthew McConaughey is getting a whole lot of steam for getting a nomination for Best Actor. And I think, from what I've heard, he's up to it. Also, I think for sure it's going to get nominated and potentially could win for supporting actor for Jared Leto, who plays a transvestite in the film. I don't think it's going to be quite as dramatic as, say, The Crying Game, but, oh yeah, that was, I remember when I first saw that film, I think it was just a couple of years ago, when that happened, that scene where it's revealed that, oh, what's the actor's name? Or I can't remember even the character's name, where that character, we all thought, oh, look at that pretty girl. Oh! It was just kind of a moment where I was just like, oh my God! I did not see that coming. And then yeah, I did eventually watch, and yeah, like the opening monologue for like the Oscars that year from Billy Crystal. I was dying laughing because Billy Crystal's just a genius when it comes to Oscar though. Otherwise, the film could get in on Best Picture, but then again, depends on how many nominees we get and how strong a showing this has. And here we go. Best Original Screenplay. It could get nominated there, but then again, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough, especially for this film and a few others, to break into the Original Screenplay category. But this has been a great year for original material, and it getting really well received and very well done. So, okay, next we're going to talk about August Osage County. The film has been getting some mixed reviews. Like a few months ago, before any reviews came in, I think a lot of people were saying this is going to be a lock for a lot of nominations. Since then, I think it's going to get 3. It's dropped a lot. I think for sure we're going to see a nomination for Meryl Streep, because Meryl Streep is freaking Meryl Streep. If she's in a film, pretty much she's going to get nominated. The few exceptions being for last year for Hope Springs, but she was nominated for a Golden Globe, so that's that. So Meryl Streep for Best Actress there. Supporting Actress for Julia Roberts. I think she's going to break into the or she's not really going to break into the category. Right now she's kind of one of the lesser talked about nominees, but I think she's going to get in. And for Adapted Screenplay, because it's a famous play, and the Academy loves famous plays being adapted. Could break into Best Picture if the reviews go up, if the attention goes up. Academy voters could put that in. One more, it could get a double nomination actually for Supporting Actress. For Supporting Actress, you could swap out Julia Roberts for Margot Martindale. I've heard a whole lot of praise for her performance as well. So you could swap those out, or it could get a double nomination. I'm not for sure about the double nomination, but like I said, Supporting Actress, if there's going to be a double nomination this year for more than one film, I think we're going to see a double nomination this year for Tom Hanks, for sure, for Captain Phillips and for Saving Mr. Banks. But I think if we're going to see a film get nominated for more than one category, in one category for more than one person, I think it's going to be Supporting Actress. And I think this right now is the one that's going to get it. Okay, from here on out, a lot of these films have either one nomination for sure or a whole lot of nominations it could get if they open up. Next, All Is Lost, the film about Robert Redford out at sea, and he's the only person in the film. Just for that, we could see Redford nominated for Best Actor. Right now, a lot of people are putting him in toward the top of the list, actually, for getting nominated. I don't think it's going to quite happen. I think the film is going to lose steam. It's lost box office now. A lot of these films, they open small, and for the next 5 weeks, they expand, and their numbers go up. The film is starting to lose now, so it keeps expanding, but the grosses for the weekend and so on are going down, which means I think the film is going to lose steam. I think Redford, I don't think the film is going to get any nominations for sure right now as it sits, but Redford, I think if the steam keeps going for him, which I've not seen the film, but I think it could, maybe it could, depending on how it goes, but if it keeps going, he's going to get nominated. The film could also be nominated for mixing and editing in the sound department, for all the storms and the stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, sorry that was cut a little short. My battery power went down a little bit. That's All Is Lost. Moving on now, we're going to do Fruitvale Station. Okay, Fruitvale Station is a film that came out a few months ago, and a lot of people said, okay, if this year goes bad for Academy Awards, for who's going to get nominated and stuff like that, this film could break in. That's gone. A lot of films have come out now that everybody says is going to be in. So, too bad. Because I think the film did look like it had a lot of potential for getting up there. I've not seen the film personally, but I think it looks really, really good. So I'm going to plan on seeing it sometime. Okay, I don't think it's going to get any nominations for sure, but for what it could get, Best Actor for Michael B. Jordan. This is his year. He's breaking in. He's getting all sorts of. He was like auditioning for Star Wars and stuff. So I don't know if he's in Star Wars. But also for Octavia Spencer for Supporting Actress. I've heard a lot of great things about her performance. So I think she's going to be one of the first potential nominees. For runner-up for getting in. And Original Screenplay. That's another film. Next up, we're going to talk about Philomena. Or I think it's is it Philomena or Philomena? I don't know. Anyways, this is Judi Dench in the movie, and just for that, I think it's going to get some potential for a Best Actress nomination. But I think the only nomination it's going to get is for Alexandre Desplat's score. Haven't heard the score by any means, haven't seen the film, but I think just for him, I think he's going to get another nomination this year. Don't know about a win, but he could get in for sure. It could also score for Best Actress for Judi Dench. I don't think she's quite going to get in, but I think she's one of the first people that I could put in. And also for Best Adapted Screenplay. But Adapted Screenplay, I think it's going to go to 5 films, and the 5 I have picked out, I don't know if we're going to see anything else, so that's that. Anyways, then we're going to move on to Labor Day. This is from Jason Reitman, of course, who's directed great stuff. From Up in the Air, Juno, all sorts of great stuff. Labor Day doesn't look like it's going to score very big, though. The reviews have been very mixed. But for Kate Winslet for Best Actress, that could break in. Josh Brolin for Supporting Actor could break in. And for Adapted Screenplay, if it gets one of those, if one of those gets in to be a nominee, I think it's going to be nominated for Adapted Screenplay. But then again, the reviews, the trailer looked really good, but I don't know. The reviews have been mixed, and for that alone, I think its chances are diminishing almost every week on average. So, all right, we're moving on now to Before Midnight. This is the third film in the Before trilogy. I have to call it. There's Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and now Before Midnight. What's next? Before Twilight? I don't know. But I don't know if this film series directed by Richard Linklater, of course, about Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. I've not seen these films, so you don't know. I don't know a whole lot about them. Julie Delpy, D-E-L-P-Y. Yeah, it's all about their relationship and stuff. So, Before Sunset got a nomination for Adapted Screenplay, I think Before Midnight is going to get that same honor for Adapted Screenplay. You know, Before Sunrise, I can't remember, did that get nominated for Original Screenplay? I don't know. I don't think it did, but yeah. This could get in. And then also for Best Actress for Julie Delpy, but I don't think, if you're going to nominate her, I think you have to nominate Ethan Hawke, and I don't think the Best Actor, we are not going to see Ethan Hawke nominated. Sad to say, but because I think he's an underrated actor, and in these films, from what I've seen, like the trailers and stuff, he looks like he could actually, yeah, keeps doing films like these, he could get in eventually one day for a nomination at least, but that's that. Okay, moving on now. This is a smaller movie, independent movie I have not seen, called Short Term 12. I don't know what to say about this. I have no idea what the film is, have not seen the trailer or anything for it, but I've heard tons of great stuff. The reviews are great. Could get nominated for Best Actress. The actress's name is Brie Larson, I believe. She was in, what was it, 21 Jump Street last year, and I liked her in the film. I don't know how she does just on herself, but yeah, she was a supporting role in Spectacular Now. Liked her in that as well. I might mention that film a little later. But anyways, also could get nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, but I don't know. I don't know about this film. I don't know anything about it, basically, except it has Brie Larson in it, and it could be... it's in the talks, I think, for getting nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, but otherwise, don't know. Okay, so then we're going to talk about another movie now called The Past. This is from a different country. I can't remember which country it's from, but a lot of people are talking about this getting nominated for Best Foreign Language Film. In terms of that category, the Academy usually picks films, sometimes not the best of films, like as far as like what people say. Like, you know, if you look back to like Siskel and Ebert saying, "Oh, this film should get nominated for foreign language film" and stuff like that, and this is one of the best films of the year, and I think it should get nominated, and then it doesn't. There was a film quite a few years ago actually called Jean de Florette, and it had a sequel, Manon de Sor, which were adapted from one big book. It's a French film. And Siskel and Ebert put them, or I know Siskel did, I don't know about Ebert. Siskel put both films in his top 10 list that year. And I think he was lobbying, like, on his show heavily saying the Academy should be picking this. And I remember it did get, at least Jean de Florette did get a whole lot of nominations from different things that year, and it didn't get the Oscar nomination. So, and as far as what people predict, like last year there was, what was the name of it? it had the black guy and the white guy, and it was kind of a film about racism. It was from France. Oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it now. It earned like so many $1 million in France and stuff. It was the #1 film for a long, long time over there, and everybody said it was going to get nominated, and it didn't. And myself, I looked at it, just the trailers of it, and I said, "Oh, this film, it looks like a strong, strong film. Oh, I can't remember the title of it now. Oh, I had it all worked out, and I was like thinking, yes, this film." And then, of course, there was Amour last year, which got 5 nominations, including Best Picture and Director, for crying out loud. So yeah, that was no-brainer last year. But oh, this is going to bother me for a very long time unless I figure this out. Okay, anyways, and then it also passed. Could be nominated. Bernice Bejo, I think is how you pronounce her last name. She was nominated a few years ago for The Artist. She could get nominated for Best Actress for this. But then again, I think the 5 that got picked out for Best Actress, there's a couple more you can only fit in for potentials. But the rest of it's kind of, you know, filled in, so that's that. I couldn't go anywhere without mentioning this film, this next film. The Spectacular Now. This is, and of course, if you've seen any of my other videos, chances are you've heard me mention this film before, especially if you've seen my review for the film. Yes, this film, to me, personally, the best film I've seen all year. And there's only a couple other films coming out this year that I think could change that. Just a couple. I'm just saying, this film is, for me, personally, on my scale, this is better than Argo. This has a chance, I think, in respective years. I think I could look back on this film and put it in some of my top films of all time list. This is not something to be taken lightly, guys. Really, the way I reacted to this film, I was so mesmerized and so into this story that I thought there was no way that I was going to not place this at least in my top 10 list for the year. I said, like, within the first 20 minutes of the film. And then as the film went on and on, I just said, this is no doubt the best film I've seen all year so far. And by about the hour mark or so, then the film, it turned a little darker. But then I was like, this is stuff the Academy has to notice. At the very least, the company that made the film has got to send this film in for potential nominations and stuff. It didn't happen. The studio did not get behind it. I haven't seen any advertisements for it at all. I have not seen any lobbying for it from anybody. This is the film, if I have to lobby for it just by myself, I will do it. This is the film that not only for me is the best picture of the year by far, this is a film that should be nominated for a lot of categories and easily could win a few of those categories, but it's not even going to stand a chance. The only thing it stands a chance for getting nominated for now, and it's a very slight chance, is for Best Actress for Shailene Woodley. Of course, I said in my review, these are the performances from her. Let me think. There's a couple other ones I'm going to mention here later on, for performances at least, that the Academy should be taking note of, should be nominating, but they won't. And sadly, I think Shailene's going to get overlooked again. She was overlooked very, very desperately. Should have been nominated for The Descendants a few years ago. Should have, but she didn't, and that's too bad. I think she's going to miss the boat again. But like I said in my review, this is the only shot. She did get nominated for a Gotham Award, but sometimes that is, you know, like last year, the Gotham Award for Best Feature Film went to Moonrise Kingdom, and the film only got 1 nomination for Original Screenplay, which it was going to get anyways. And it didn't work for getting a nomination to Best Picture. It didn't work, so... and then Spectacular Now, that's the only nomination for a Gotham Award, so I'm just saying, if it's going to get anything, it's going to get Best Actress for Academy Award nomination, but before then, it's got to at least get a Broadcast Film Critics, or for a, Critics' Choice Award, or a Golden Globe nomination, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's quite going to happen. If she gets either one of those, her chances are going to jump up. But she's the one I'm going to lobby for. She's the one I'm saying should be in, should be in, should be in. And she, right now, if my world was absolutely perfect, she would be like one of the top. I don't mind if you give it just the award and it goes to Cate Blanchett. I'm sure she's wonderful in the film, but Woodley should at least be nominated. and I'm gonna get really, really upset if I learn that like even the studio itself did not lobby behind the film at least, and the Gotham Award was just by chance. That is gonna make me very upset. But that's that. Okay, I'm gonna step off my soapbox for a second, and now I'm gonna get back on. The next one I'm gonna mention, Rush. Second best film of the year, and guess what? No lobbying whatsoever for the major categories. But I think it does stand a chance right now of getting several other nominations in the technical categories, which is definitely very good. Visual effects, I think it's going to get nominated. Best makeup and hairstyling, yes. Not to spoil anything, there is a moment in the film where a character gets really badly effed up, so to speak, in a race. And yeah, just the effects, they put on him, the makeup and stuff, and the way it looks, I was like, yes, this is solid work. Also for mixing and editing in the sound departments, I think those are the 5 nominations it's going to get. That could be subject to change. A few weeks ago, a lot of people were saying Daniel Bruhl for his performance was going to get into the nominations. I would love to see him get it, but I don't think he is quite. The list is shortening now for who's the runner-ups for getting in the 5 nominees. But love to see him get in. The cinematography was great in the film. The editing, film editing, another potential one, and original score from Hans Zimmer. I think he's going to get nominated for 12 Years a Slave, but I don't think he's going to get a double nomination. But yeah, Rush, second best film of the year. I would love to see Ron Howard get a lot of support for rallying behind the film for getting a Best Director nomination. It's not going to happen. Best Picture is out the window. Chris Hemsworth really should be getting a lot of rallying for Best Actor. That's not going to happen. Don't know the actress's name, but the Daniel Bruhl's character's wife should be. Her performance was really strong. I think she should be getting at least some lobbying. I don't think she was, just as it is, even if she were getting a lot of support, I don't think she would get in to be nominated, but she should be at least campaigning a little bit. Not the Olivia Wilde character, but there's another character in the film. So that's Rush. Yeah, second best film of the year. Absolutely loved it. Even for original screenplay, it should be getting a lot of talk, but it's not. Not too much I can do about it. So, moving on now to Mud. This film came out late April, and everybody was talking about, oh, they should wait. This film, it was getting the reviews of the year back then. They were saying Reese Witherspoon and Michael Shannon and Matthew McConaughey all are going to be nominated. That talk has gone out the window a lot. The film does stand a small chance right now for getting nominated for supporting actor for McConaughey, but I think they're going to aim more for him for Best Actor, and that's going to be it. So that's Mud for you. That's the only nomination I think it's going to get, but that's that. Now we're going to move on now to 42. I am very, very happy right now, because today, if you know, I don't think I've discussed this actually. There's a thing on YouTube, you might have heard of it, called AMC Movie Talk, which is John Campea, who's a blogger. Anyways, he does a show, and he talks about movie news, and he takes questions and stuff. And every once in a while, he'll do a live show, and he'll like say, okay, I'm going to answer these questions from pre-submitted, and then I'm gonna there's a chat board, of course. I'm gonna let you put stuff into the chat board, and I'll just I'll read off some stuff, and I'll I'll answer a few questions that pop up that are of interest to me. I went on the computer this morning, and I went in, I'm like, oh, he's live. I was like, I had never seen him do it live. So I was like, okay, let me do it live. And I saw the chat board there, I'm like, I'm gonna take an opportunity here. So I was just typing in different stuff, backing up what he was saying and stuff. Because he was talking this morning about Christopher Nolan should have got nominated for Inception. It was a question about Christopher Nolan, and he was talking about, oh, Christopher Nolan, and he agreed, and so do I. Christopher Nolan should have get nominated for Best Director for Inception from a few years ago. That year was effed up for Academy Awards. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. 2010. Oh, hate to say it, The King's Speech should not have won Best Picture or Best Director. It shouldn't have come close. The clear front runner that year should have won almost everything else. Social Network. The Social Network. Clearly the better film of the two, but that's me. Anyways, and then he said, okay, you know, you can put in your questions. So I was like, okay, I typed in a couple of questions, and there was one I thought of, because I was seeing on hitfix.com, they had a few ads for the film 42 and for Harrison Ford getting a nomination. And yeah, I'm going to mention this, Harrison Ford. I think when I heard the film was coming out, and then I saw the trailer and stuff. I think that was back 2 Decembers ago now. Or not 2 December, sorry, last December. Or last January, whenever it was, and I was like, hey, this film looks okay, you know, 42, and then I saw it was coming out in April. I'm like, oh, something went wrong there. And then I found out later, oh, the first baseball, the opening season for, opening games for baseball is that same weekend. Okay, now I see where it's coming from. And then, yeah, I got strong reviews. I never saw it in the theater. I really wanted to. But then, just from the trailers, I was like, Harrison Ford looks like he's turning in a totally different role here, you know, and a totally different performance. And then I saw the film actually, what was that, a month ago or about 2 months ago now. And I was taken aback by how good Harrison Ford was in the film. And and then I was like, you know, he should maybe get some rallying. He could, you know, this year for supporting actor, he could get some good potential to be nominated. And I said he could get nominated at least for the Golden Globe if he gets enough support. But anyways. And then I saw the ad, and I'm like, this is happening. He's getting some rallying. So I'm like, he's on his way. And I was actually telling this to my mother last night, because she was wondering, she happened to see it too. She's like, oh, you know, I remember that. And I told her, okay, here's what he got. He's got to get a film Critics' Choice nomination, then he's got to get a Golden Globe, and then he can get nominated for an Oscar. I don't think it's going to happen any other way. An Oscar. There we go. Oscar. But and I saw this, I'm like, he's on his way. If he at least gets the Golden Globe, he's going to get a big consideration for the Oscar. And so I typed in the question. I said, here, John Campea, how about you answer this? And I'm like, here, you know, I've seen ads for Harrison Ford being a potential nominee for supporting actor. Do you think he's going to get in? What are his chances? And I typed that in. I had to leave. I had something else today, so I left while the video was still going live. I actually left right when he was starting to answer the other questions, some other questions that came in. And I was reading the chat board, and I'm like, people are asking stupid questions. Like, they were asking stuff about, you know, could Harry Potter be in Avengers 2? Really? You're going to ask that? You're seriously going to take the freaking effort to lift your fingers on the key and put them down on the keys to type in, can Harry Potter appear in Avengers 2? Idiots! Okay, moving on. Of course, if you don't know anything about that, sorry, but the way Campea usually spells out clearly that, you know, Spider-Man can appear in the event, and so on. I'm getting really off topic here, but anyways, point was, I left, and I was thinking throughout the day, you know, hundreds of people are watching that, hundreds of people typing in questions and stuff. I said, there's no way he answered my question. You can see where this is going, can't you? So then I came back quite a few hours later, and I'm like, well, there was a couple of questions. I'm like, I was wondering if he actually tackled that question of can Harry Potter appear in Avengers 2, and he could do like his 15th million rant on how owning properties works, and how studios can't really swap and say, okay, now we're going to put X-Men and the Avengers in the same movie, and so how that doesn't really work. And then I was watching the video, and I skipped ahead to where I was like, because there was like questions about a WWE movie and stuff, and I was like, oh no, this isn't going to end well. So I said, okay, I'll just watch the rest of the video. And son of a bitch, he answered my question. I was listening, I was like, and they mispronounced my YouTube channel name, but I was like, oh yeah! I was like, wow, it happened. I was so excited, and he said, yeah, he thinks that Harrison Ford will be nominated. Campea, I gotta disagree. I don't know if you've seen the other list, and he mentioned, yeah, that Fassbender right now, or he called him Fassbender, but I think he pronounced it Fassbender. I pronounce it Fassbender. I think Fassbender, yeah, he's gonna walk away with this award if nobody else comes up. Like, if Renner, like, absolutely blows it out of the park in American Hustle, he could win. But anyway, I'll mention more about this later. But yeah, I don't think Ford can do it. I don't think he's going to get in. But he's one of the people I'll definitely consider. Okay, here's another film that a few months ago we would have said, Oh, I can imagine this getting a whole lot of nominees, or nominations. Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. I gotta say. The reviews came in, they were kind of mixed. The Oscar chances died. The only thing I think that remains is for adapted screenplay and for supporting actress, for Naomie Harris. I kind of took a while on that, 42, so we'll move on after this really quickly, and I don't want to make this... we had a little problem there, so I stopped it, and that was almost an hour, so let's try not to make this a 2-hour video split between like 4 or 5 different segments, and we'll keep going here. Here's another one I mentioned a few weeks ago for for a few of my videos. I was talking about how James Gandolfini could be nominated for Enough Said, supporting actor. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. That talk just died right away. But I think for original screenplay, we could see Enough Said get a nomination. But it's not, like I said many times now. Original screenplay, besides a couple of them, 3, it's a shot in the dark for who's going to fill in the other 2 spots. So, Enough Said, it's another one to think about. Okay, here's another one. I mentioned this last week, actually. It opened, Book Thief. The Book Thief, I think, is the actual title. John Williams is doing the score. I think he's going to get a nomination for original score. I was hoping he would win, because I want to see him win another Oscar. Let's see, he's won for, he's won a few times. He's won for Jaws, for Star Wars, he's won for E.T., he won for, he won for another one. Schindler's List, and then I think, did he win again for Saving Private Ryan? I think he did. Off the top of my head, something tells me he did. So I think, yeah, he's got. I know he's got 5, but I think those are the 5. So I think I'm hoping he can win another one for sure before he, retires. But yeah, if he can do 100 more film scores, I would love to hear him do 100 more film scores. Love to hear him, not really see him do it, because that's not as much fun. Book Thief, the reviews are kind of mixed. I was hoping actually that they'd get better, but no. Otherwise, it could get nominated. Small chance right now for adapted screenplay and also for costume design. It's another older film, so production design also could be thrown in there. But I think production design is going to find a few other nominees first to fill in the slots. But costume design, I think this one's got a chance. Okay, next film, Blue is the Warmest Color. This one, the Palme de... I can't remember. I don't know the name of the award, but it was like the top honors at the Cannes Film Festival. And this film has a lot of talk going around that it could sneak up and get a Best Picture nomination. I don't think it is going to happen, though. But it could get nominated, I think, for adapted screenplay. I'm not sure. Best Actress, I think, is another one that people are talking about, but it's got an NC-17 rating, which means the box office is pretty low. You can't get kids in there, obviously, so... I don't know about myself, but I think the film looked decent. But yeah, it's not really my go-to subject for film. But I'm sure winning the whatever the name of the award is at Cannes, I'm sure it's going to get some eyebrows raised for talks for Academy Awards. Okay, 9 left. 9 films I'm going to talk about. Next one, Monsters University. Okay, a few months ago this would have been the shoe-in winner for Best Animated Feature. That's changed. We'll keep going here. I think it's going to get nominated for sure for animated feature. Also for original score for Randy Newman. He always does a great job doing the scores, so yeah, we'll hope that he can break in too. But I think he's not quite at this point going to be one of the 5. But I haven't seen it yet. But I know it's a film that I'm really wanting to see. Okay, this is a film I actually saw a month ago. I think it was a month. Yeah, and I thought it was decent, not really perfect, not really bad, but good. The Great Gatsby. I think the film stands a very good chance right now at winning the Academy Award for Best Costume Design. And then also up for Best Production Design. I think those 2, I think, are going to be solid locks right now for nominations at least. For sure for Best Costume. But for Production Design, that could be a little iffy. Just a little bit. Depending, of course, on how a lot of other films go. Next up, The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug. Is it Smaug or Smaug? I'm going to pronounce it Smaug, if you don't mind. For sure. Best visual effects. Definitely a nomination. Not a win. I think Gravity's going to win, but definitely a nomination there. And then also for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Of course, all the elves and all that. Oh, yeah. Definitely going to get nominated. This could break into a lot of other categories. Production Design. Definitely. Actually, the first Hobbit, Unexpected Journey, got a nomination for Production Design. That's the one. That's one of them I was thinking of. Otherwise, Life of Pi I knew was nominated. Costume design definitely could get in. Sound mixing and sound editing. Yeah, it's an action film, so yeah. Anyway, I'm still looking forward to this film, but I don't think it's going to bump up into the big categories yet. The way that, you know, because right off the bat from the first Lord of the Rings film, Fellowship of the Ring, it got nominations for director, picture, supporting actor, adapted screenplay, and so on. You know, everybody knew, oh yeah, if this series keeps going like this is going to be a big awards contender. It could be like the Godfather trilogy, and win Best Picture all the way through. And then, of course, Beautiful Mind won, so that was out the door, but that's okay. And then again, Godfather 3 didn't win Best Picture. Thank God. If it would have, then I would have really thrown something at the door once I watched the movie and realized, oh, this was a horrible movie. Well, it's not really horrible, but anyway, I'm indifferent toward the movie. Let's say that. But yeah, I don't think this is quite going to break into the next one, There and Back Again. If it's as good as, you know, like the Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King, you know, up to that level now, then it could get some bigger ones. But I don't think Desolation Smog is going to do much better than Unexpected Journey at the Academy Awards. Okay, next up, Ralph Fiennes' I think his directorial debut. I know he's acting in the film too. A remake of The Invisible Woman. This takes, I don't know much about the film, but I know it's got a good chance right now of getting nominated for Best Costume Design. It takes place in the past, so, and what I've seen, oh yeah, this is going to get, I think for sure, almost a lock for a nomination for costume design, unless the Academy completely doesn't want to screen it, and it doesn't get screened for anybody and nobody nominates it. That's the only way. But right now I think I'm pretty confident that it's going to get some talk. And then for Best Production Design it could get, because it's a past film, yeah, definitely. Don't know too much about it, so that's that. Next up, Oz the Great and Powerful. Not for sure about any for sure nominations, but we could see 4 potentially. Production design, yes, like Alice in Wonderland a few years ago won for that, but another Disney film. Best costume design, yeah. Visual effects, yes, and for best makeup, hairstyling, yeah. Especially with all the stuff they put on Mila Kunis and stuff, so yeah. That's another potential right there. Pacific Rim, another film I have not seen but I want to see. I think it's going to get 2 nominations for sure, not too much otherwise. For visual effects and for sound editing. I think sound mixing, a lot of other films are going to come first. But yeah, I think the visual effects, all the giant robots and the monsters and everything, yeah, that's going to get nominated for sure. And also, yeah, for editing, yeah, all the clanging and the banging and all that. Oh yeah, easily imagine this getting nominated. Except Iron Man 3. Okay, I think this film definitely is going to be nominated for visual effects. If not for just the fact that the visual effects look great, but for the fact that Iron Man 1 and 2 both were nominated in the same category. And I do think, yeah, the visual effects really look great in the film, and it all looks very good. And especially, I do have to mention here in Iron Man 3, the visual effects in the scene where the barrel of monkey sequence, it was only from the Iron Man suit and from the plane exploding. Otherwise, those people were really falling. They were they're skydivers, by the way, not actors. They weren't putting them through hell, saying, "Okay, actors, here you go. You can be an extra in the film, but you gotta fall down from a plane and not wear a parachute. And just rely on a computer saving you." Yeah, nobody would do that. But yeah. Anyway, I'm just mentioning that to mention it. But I'm wasting time. Also, a nomination, also potentially for sound editing in this case. Next up, Star Trek Into Darkness. I think this could get a few nominations. Visual effects. I don't think it's going to be one of the 5, but it could. Makeup and hairstyling. Won makeup a few years ago. The first one did. And sound editing. From all this stuff, all the explosion stuff. It's one of the better action pictures I've seen this year, if not the best. And for that, I think they could reward it. Even if Khan and all that was really bad, and that was a bad Zachary Quinto mimicking William Shatner impression. And last, and potentially least, I'm sorry to say, Lone Survivor, film by Peter Berg. Anyways, this film looks like it's an okay movie. It's an action film. It's basically an army movie, and I think it's going to get nominated for sound editing. I don't know, that could change in the next few weeks. It's gotten a few good early reviews, not fantastic by any means, but some good ones. And it could also get nominated for sound mixing. All these, in the vein of like Black Hawk Down, which I think that got a few more nominations, didn't it? I can't remember, but I think for sure it was Black Hawk Down got a couple of nominations in that category. So that could be another story like that there.